Good morning, Captain. I'm Colonel Hargrove from the Office of Strategic Services. I'll get right to the point.
Back when it's commercially relevant, I used to play the PSP non-stop and became the master of awkward controls for shooters. Fortunately, I haven't lost the knack during the review of Medal of Honor Heroes. Now, all things considered, they did a great job of crafting a first-person shooter around the control and technical limitations of the PSP, but it's not without its flaws. As the title implies, you control 3 different heroes from the past Medal of Honor games: Baker, Holt, and Patterson. The game doesn't have much in the way of plots, with only the mission briefing to set the stage. Occasionally you get an FMV using archive footage, but the game never really tries to tell much of a story.
I hope you gentlemen enjoy storming the castle.
Since the PSP lacks the second analog stick, it takes a bit of time to adjust to the controls. This means you'll be aiming the face buttons and using the D-pad for various actions. The game offers a couple of assists and control options to make life a little easier. For the most part, it gets the job done, but I have a few nitpicks with the controls. First off, the jump button is assigned to the select button, which is weird. And running is performed by double tapping the analog stick upwards, which I can never really master and seems to only work when it feels like it. But my biggest nitpick would have to be the up button, which has been mapped to multiple interactions. I often find myself trying to use a med kit, but instead picking up a gun from a dead soldier. The mission objectives involve collecting intel and defending strategic points. The gunplay is fun, but your comrades often get in the way, and defending bases for 3 minutes is a real slog. Despite the large environments, the graphics are really good for the PSP and manages to stick to a desirable 30 frames per second. However, there's no music during actual gameplay, which is a bit disappointing since Medal of Honor games are renowned for their musical score. Unfortunately, the campaign is very short and only takes 2 hours to beat all 15 missions, making the shortest game in the franchise. The game's redeeming factor was the online multiplayer that could support an impressive 32 players, but sadly the servers were switched off in 2010. You can still play the game locally with ad hoc, but there's no game sharing available, so your friends will need their own copy of the game. Fortunately, there's a bot mode called Skirmish, where you can fight upwards of 15 bots. The good news is that used copies are only around $5 or $10, which offshoots the short campaign length, and while there were other first-person shooters on the PSP, I still think Heroes and the sequel were among the best.
The war, I'm glad to inform you, is for all intents and purposes finally over.